The Balloon Museum is an immersive balloon experience that's just opened up in East London in Old Billingsgate. The exhibition has already been to New York and Naples, and it's had over 3 million visitors. So the one in East London is in a 78,000-foot venue, and you can feel it's really big. This is definitely the largest immersive experience that I've been to, and the most professionally laid out as well, and I've been to quite a few. One thing I really liked about this one is I felt it was a little more adulty than some of the others. Obviously children can still come to this one, but I definitely felt it was more of a cross between an actual art gallery and an immersive experience. It definitely encouraged adults to get involved as well, and that's what I really like about a lot of these new immersive experiences, is they're encouraging adults to find their inner child as well as children to enjoy. Each of the exhibits had a plaque next to it which had a little bit of information about the piece and the artist, which I really liked. This one was called Electric Moons, and it's by Christopher Bowder, and it's a kinetic installation that celebrates the power of light and weightlessness. So the next installation is The Cube Abyss by Cyril Lancelin. And I really love this one. It has thunder playing in the background, and the idea is to make you feel like you're at the bottom of the ocean, and it's designed to bring up that sense of anxiety of the unknown. I definitely felt this immersive experience as a whole had a slightly darker feeling to it than most of the others that I've been to. It wasn't as light and happy, and it had a very moody, eerie sense. So maybe that's something to think about with young children. As an adult, I really enjoyed it and preferred it to most of the others, but it is something just to bear in mind. So the lead curator of the Balloon Museum is Antonella Di Lullo, who says the idea is that the balloon brings everybody to the child's age, and she's very passionate about what inflatable art can achieve. So this next installation is called Swing, and it was definitely one of the more interactive experiences here, and it definitely seemed to engage the children the most, maybe along with the ball pit. So we then entered this huge corridor of these giant heads, which really reminds me of the Easter Island Maui statues. I actually wonder if that was the influence behind this. The piece is called Synchronized Chaos, and it's by Miranda Makaroff. It represents how the mind can be super chaotic and how we need to try and find a sense of calm. She says about her piece, "If you get distracted, it's easy to end up with a thorny, vine-filled mental garden that's hard to escape. This artwork aims to instill awareness during those moments when the inner voices take over, encouraging silence to bring back calm. Just like an untamed horse, the wild mind races ahead while the soul guides the consciousness, asserting its true control." So I absolutely loved these giant bunnies down in the arches. It's by Momoyo Torimitsu and it's called Somehow I Don't Feel Comfortable. And they were originally created for a show in Paris in 2000. So they're intentionally designed to be way too big for their space, and they represent two things. One is what they affectionately call the houses and living accommodation in Japan, which is rabbit hutches, referring to the tiny cramped situation that many people find themselves in the big cities. The artist also wanted to use the juxtaposition of the typical stereotype of bunnies being small, cute and innocent. She purposely created these huge bunnies in a way to express her own feelings when dealing with her culture. This oversized bunny I created, she says, that looks down on you doesn't seem cute anymore. In fact, it's kind of disturbing. So this next piece is called Cannonballs, and it's by Motamichi Nakamura, and it uses projection mapping to create these eerie moving cannonballs.
Enjoy. 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 Enjoy.
So this one is going to either annoy the hell out of you or you're going to love it. So it's called The Third Thing by Alex Schrader. It's a huge inflatable mirrored ball that inflates and then collapses whilst constantly saying her joy in the background, which is probably going to annoy some people. I really loved it purely because of the way the light reflected off the mirrors. I just found it to be stunning and really ethereal, and it did actually put me into a sense of calm. I actually probably would have preferred there was no voice to it, but I loved the beauty of the way it reflected the lights. Obviously, I've sped this up, so you don't have to wait for 20 minutes for it to inflate and deflate. So this next installation is called Voyage by Kalman Poole, and he wants you to feel like you could be entering an underwater city or a new alien civilization. The writing on the walls is actually a language developed by the artist himself that was inspired by East Asian languages. And the inspiration behind the artworks was from his trip to the Mogao Caves, which is a divine Buddhist site with over 1,000 years of history based in northwestern China.
Enjoy. 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 Enjoy.
So this room is called Kaleidoscope, and it's designed by Karina Smigler-Bobinski, and it features these tables that are covered in backlit coloured liquid which allow you to draw shapes into the top. So we were then handed these delightful plastic shoe covers before we entered probably the most famous part of this exhibition, which is the enormous ball pit. Now, it was so much fun. I actually liked this bubble pit more than any of the other immersive experiences, but that's probably because it could be a bit scary for children. It actually was really hard to stand up in when you'd fallen over, and it was pretty deep. So I don't know how much young children will love it. So my friend's child was 8 and he found it pretty scary, to be honest, but it doesn't mean all children would. I probably as a child would have loved this and been all over it, to be honest. So I was straight into it. I love being a child. I don't think I'm ever going to grow up, and this was so much fun for me. So this bit was probably my personal least favourite part of the exhibition, was walking through this woman's legs with the bright colours. I just didn't really feel this piece. And then there was the bubble making machines, but they weren't very interactive. It was more a watching experience. And I thought this was the point when a lot of them would be finished, but there's actually a whole other level upstairs. So one of the final installations is this piece, which is called Playground Love by Michaela Picky. And it's based around the song by Air. I don't know if you've heard it. I love the song Playground Love. This piece is intended to feel like a huge adult playground and allow you to go back to that innocent time of when you're at school playing with the intention of love. And it's guarded by these 4 benevolent tigers around the edge, which act and serve as guardians of the space. The only thing I'm going to say is that these balls are not quite as light as suggested, and my friend's child got a little bit hurt. And I also, as you can see here, felt like I broke my nose. It was entirely my own fault because I asked people to roll the ball over me, not realising how heavy it was. And I honestly did think that I broke my nose. But hey, I guess a few injuries always were a part of playground love. So you also got a great view of some of the earlier exhibits from up here as well. So one of the final experiences were these super cute little characters, and these are called the Gingers by Rub Candy, and they had rave music playing in the background, so you could have a bit of a dance in this room. So the final piece was called Squeezed In by Lucas Zanotto, and it was a perfect chance to take a few photos before we go through to the truly Instagrammable section, which is all the photo backdrops. They seem to have these at all of the immersive experiences. There's definitely some patterns to them. So at the end they had this balloon bar where they had some sugary donuts and cakes, which I don't eat because I'm a super health freak, so I don't touch this kind of stuff, but great for kids and adults that like it, I guess. Then they also had this balloon shop where you could buy balloons and these balloon animals. I thought this was really novel, cute touch, and generally I just think this particular immersive experience had a bit more attention to detail. I thought its waiting rooms were nicer, and I definitely felt it's one of the better experiences of the ones that I've been to. But I don't know if it's the best for kids. That's all I'm going to say. I think this one is better for slightly older children, and adults would be my take, and maybe some of the ones like Balloon World, Bubble World are better for younger children.